Talk about what to do with Tee Higgins. We got to talk about what to do with Joe Mixon. And we got to talk about what to do based on whatever moves are made. So we're going to join the discussion, join the back and forth you're seeing on your Twitter timeline. And we're going to talk about it on video coming up next on Blue Collar Bengals.
What is up, Bengals fans? I am joining you here, hopefully in the year 2024, picture-wise. Glad to be here. Super pumped. We got some stuff to talk about, Drew. Do you just want to roll right into it? How you doing?
Stressed out, boys. 2 days out from the wedding. Be the last time you see this finger on here naked. Final details. Men's Warehouse stinks, stuff like that, but We're rolling on. We're good. But yeah, we can jump right into it. It might be a shorter episode than normal because I still have a shit ton of things I got to get done. But as you can see in the thumbnail and the title, we are going to do what our good buddy Willie Lutz refers to very eloquently as Groundhog Day. He put out a tweet today that says, "Welcome to Bengals Twitter Groundhog Day, where we'll be talking about Tee Higgins and Joe Mixon every day through mid-March." And that is pretty much spot on.
Yeah.
That is what's going on in the Bengals internet world. That's what's going on your Twitter timeline. So
Wedge Gordon.
What better way to fill an offseason show than what everybody's already arguing about? 100. I haven't looked at the chat yet. Wedge in here?
Wedge is off the top rope with a backhanded compliment. I love it. Thank you, Wedge. Yeah, I am AI today. I am a robot. No, man. I went out and tried to freaking handle the problem. Thank you, Best Buy. But yeah,
Ron is invested
exactly
in the new millennium.
Exactly. So you bring up Willie's tweet. Love Willie Lutz, great guy. And that's kind of what happens every offseason. The past couple off seasons so far is we've had a guy to talk about. This year we've got two guys to talk about, right? Joe Mixon. That's just going to happen every year, I guess. At this point, it's just going to be a fist fight. I can't just tell you how happy I am at the comments right now talking about how
you've got to explain your hat, because I had the same thought that I think everybody's having.
Oh, is everybody? Oh, no, this is a Right State Raiders hat. Right State.
You're still pointing to the wrong side. There we go. It's hard to read from here. I was like, dude, why are you wearing a Raiders hat? And he's like, it's Right State.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't look.
My father-in-law was actually on the only national championship Right State Raiders team. D2 title, still a title, but so I pay homage to them whenever I can. Local team up here. Fun games to go to. Raider up, Cincy Jake. Yeah, 100%.
But it looks black and gray, which is also Las Vegas Raiders colors, though. So
yeah,
I can understand the confusion, because I had the same thing when we first hopped in.
I can obviously switch to the best hat ever made, Cincy hat, but I'm going to roll with that today. But like I was saying, thank you for the nice comments. But we do this every year. Joe Mixon is apparently, until he leaves here, just going to be a fist fight for this fan base until he's gone. But now we're talking about Tee Higgins in a real scenario where the Bengals have to tag and retain and try to work out a deal, or tag and try to move T. Letting him walk would just be completely unacceptable. The tag will happen this year. If he plays on the tag, we'll be doing this all again next year. But we're going to live in the present here. So I'll just spell it out. The franchise tag would keep, and not to insult anyone's intelligence, but Drew and I aren't very bright. So the franchise tag would keep Tee Higgins here for 1 year, and it would cost the Bengals roughly $20.7 million. They would then have until mid-July, I think, to work out a deal with Tee Higgins and his, I don't know how to put it politely, strong arm agent. So they'll have to do that. We'll cover a couple scenarios tonight. I think ultimately everybody would love it if Tee Higgins would stay around, but we've got to be realistic about this and see what other options are available. I'm big right now. Drew, are you doing something or do you want to chime in?
No, I'm just appreciating the fact that your audio and video are both so good. I wanted to
Yeah.
give you full screen experience because I feel like you've been through the trenches. You know, you worked your way up, and you're
Yep.
back. But yeah, man, we can start with the T thing. Shout out T. Welcome to the jungle. Autographed T Higgins helmet.
I don't
One
have
of my
tea.
cool memorabilia pieces. Um, you know why I want this all to be settled?
Yeah.
I want it all to be settled just so I know if I can buy a T Higgins jersey or not.
I
Ever since
know.
I wanted the Tee Higgins jersey, but it's like, oh, he's going to change to number 5. So I'm like, I'm just going to wait. That way I can get the number. And then he finally changes to number 5, but it's like, oh, he doesn't have a contract. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? So I
Yeah.
can't buy a Tee Higgins jersey. And that's frustrating to me. But on the football field wise, I feel like we've talked about it a little bit, but there's now we're now in the window where the Bengals can apply the franchise tag on Tee Higgins at any time. I think that is now through March 5th, if I'm not mistaken. If I am mistaken, somebody can correct me.
Yeah.
I
The
think we've
first to
got
the
until
fifth.
the 5th
Yeah.
to put the tag on him, which I expect them to do regardless, barring
Hmm.
some act of God and a miracle where a long term extension gets worked out between now and then. He's going to get the tag. So the option of him just walking is not on the table. I guess it technically is on the table, but it's not happening. So what we're
Hmm.
looking at here is, let's say they're going to tag him, and then that gives them until mid July to work out an extension.
Yeah.
Now we saw last year with Jesse Bates, who is represented by David Mulugeta as well. David Mulugeta has never completed a second contract with the Cincinnati Bengals. He's done rookie deals for his clients, but he's never executed a second contract with the Bengals. They
I didn't
don't
know
get
that.
along. He got Deshaun Watson $230
Creep,
million fully guaranteed with
freak, creep,
a bunch of off the field stuff going on. So
creepy
this
freak,
guy drives
creep.
a hard bargain. This this guy, we're gonna get those burners over here. But I had one today actually. Cleveland
Yeah.
one's going really, really aggressively at me. I was like, dude, I'm not even talking about you guys. But so it is what it is, right? His agent
Yeah.
is who he is. But what I think people don't understand enough when they talk about his agent, he gets people guaranteed money. He drives a hard
Yeah.
bargain. He got
Yeah.
Jesse Bates paid the money that he wanted to get that the Bengals weren't offering him. That's well and good. If Tee Higgins wanted to, hold on. You know what? I'm gonna get me a full screener here.
Do it.
What people forget when talking about David Mulugeta is that if Tee Higgins wanted to and wanted to stay in Cincinnati bad enough and got a structure he was okay with, and Mulugeta's like, hey man, you can get more, blah, blah, blah. Tee Higgins reserves the right to tell David Mulugeta to sit down and get me the deal I want. I think people forget that David Mulugeta works for Tee Higgins. It's not the other way around. I hate to bring this guy up. Don't like him. Don't like the team he plays for. But TJ Watt at one point told his agent, move aside, get out of the way. I want to get a deal done with Pittsburgh. And they got a deal done.
Yeah.
And that deal was Pittsburgh breaking the mold of the kind of contracts that they typically give out for a guy who they felt was an anomaly. And we can say what we want about TJ Watt, but he is the heart and soul of their defense. But he told his agent, I'm playing the game, I'm risking my limbs and all that. Get out of the way, let me sign the deal. So if Tee Higgins wanted to, and maybe he doesn't, and if he doesn't, I'm completely okay with that too, because he's the guy that's putting his life, limb, and all that on the line. If he's like, I want my agent to get me the most possible, I don't care where it is, I ain't mad at you, bro. Go get paid. But people seem to forget that he could say, like, yo, Mulugeta, I'm happy with this deal. Let's do it and let's get it done. So that is an option. Is it an option that he will use? Probably not, but it's out there. And
Yeah. It's the same notion of, oh, Joe Burrow could take a hometown deal. Like, you know what I mean? We were all kind of wishfully thinking that. And he got his money. So like Joe Burrow deserves his money. T. Higgins deserves his money, and Mulugeta is gonna get him his money no matter where he plays. That it's news to me though that he's never executed a second contract. I didn't know that, so that's a little.
Yeah,
Ugh,
that's a real
I
thing.
don't know that I like that, but so he gets tagged. Okay, here's our scenario. Let's go on from here. Tony, Burrow might have taken a hometown deal, right? But I'm talking brass tacks, dollars and cents, like straight money, cashola. Um, I get how it was structured. It helps the Bengals. So props to Joe for doing that. But all right, so Tee Higgins is tagged. Bam. It's probably later down the road. Like we're not getting a tag anytime soon, guys. Like I would doubt it happens soon at all. We're at that
They
point.
don't
He's
have to.
tagged. Yeah, exactly. Right. And they're gonna make each side is gonna make each other sweat. You know what I mean? It's the nature of the beast. They love each. Tee Higgins loves the Bengals. The Bengals love Tee Higgins. David Mulligetta is the devil. He's gonna make it difficult. So he's tagged. Right. We're at that point. What do you want, Drew Garrison?
I want Tee Higgins to sign a long-term contract extension and be a Bengal for the next 4 or 5 years, depending on
Okay.
how they have to structure it. But I don't want I don't want him playing on the tag if they don't think that he will
Yeah.
sign an extension. I think it's a waste of resource. And I think if you let him walk next year after playing out on the tag, a la AJ Green, and you get a 3rd-round comp pick for him, I think that is an organizational mistake because
Yeah.
Tee Higgins has value right now. You can turn Tee Higgins into valuable assets. And a lot of the argument of against paying Tee Higgins, and I've seen people against paying Tee Higgins, and that's you're right to feel that way. That's fine.
Sure.
But if you do pay him, people are saying that takes away money and resources to address other holes on the roster. Offensive line, defensive line, secondary help, whatever position group you think may need that cash. That's valid. If I agree with it or not, doesn't matter, but that is a valid way of thinking. But the flip side is if you say, okay, I don't want to pay Tee Higgins because I think that money could go towards other places in the roster, fine. Then you need to trade him and get more assets to address those holes on the roster and address those position groups that you wanted addressed in. You can't just say, hey, I get it. We're going to go on one more run. We're going to give it one more shot to try to win a Super Bowl. That's cool. But if they're going to do that, I want them to mortgage the future like the Rams did. If you're saying we're going to franchise tag Tee Higgins because we're going all in this year, then go all in as much as you can. And you know what? If it screws the next 5 years like it may do for the Rams, who did just get back in the playoffs this year, I don't care because if it gets me a ring, you can suck for 10 years. I don't care.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish.
I just feel like if you're on the side of you can't pay T a long-term deal because of the roster and places that those resources could go, that's fine. But what goes hand in hand with that in my eyes is, okay, I can't pay him because I need to invest in these position groups. Then don't waste $20.7 million this year and still have those position groups be deficient. Turn him into as much capital as you can right now for this draft, if you have to, or whatever the case may be. You have to, in my opinion, you have to look at it from both sides if that's your mode of thinking. My mode of thinking is Joe Burrow says that his contract is structured in a way to where it can work for T. He said that in a presser. If that's the case, there should be a plan there. Let's go execute it. If you give T a top of the market deal for 4 or 5 years, I'm cool with it. I don't care what other people say about the cap percentage because the cap's shooting up again. The cap just went up by $20 million or so. Somebody can fact check me. I'm an idiot. Not good at math.
Or something ridiculous. Yeah.
And it's going to continue to grow. That's why Joe Burrow's contract is not going to look like a big deal in a couple years. We talked about the Watson deal. Now his deal doesn't even look that crazy. The guarantees still look crazy, but the average annual value in his cap hit, it doesn't look like hardly anything because the cap has gone up so much. He's like 8th or 9th in the league in cap hit or something. And Jimmy Haslam has been scamming truck drivers his whole life. So he's got a bunch of money. He can just sign it off and make it a signing bonus. So if the Bengals are going to say, we're going all in, let's go all in and let's start using some of this funny money that all these other owners are using that I know the Bengals don't have as much of, but they have some of. You're going to have to start talking because I'm going to just keep going. And I don't want to take all the time.
No, You're good. That was good. I think there's a world where we pay him just fine. I really do. The only thing I don't want is to rob Peter to save Paul. Like, I don't want another position group to have to suffer because we've tied money up in Tee Higgins, and we're probably going to make Jamar Chase the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL at some point, right?
Yes.
I'm not a numbers guy. Like, I'm not going to sit here and Joe Goodberry it and say, well, here's what his contract would look like: 4 years for blah 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 dollars, this many a year. Like, that's, dude. If I knew how to do that stuff, I'd maybe be. Yeah, I got that today too. How sick is that? Shout out Goodberry bobblehead. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I can do that. If I could do that, I wouldn't be doing a podcast. I'd be working for a freaking football team. But I don't know what it looks like, dude, but I'm on the same page as you. Like, my world, I want to tag and get a deal done with Tee Higgins. It's kind of scary how much we have going against us right now from where we sit right now. I could be dead wrong, but I mean, you've mentioned it. Like, Mulligetta has not gotten a second deal done with the Bengals. Tee Higgins is good at playing football, wide receiver, so he wants to get paid and deserves to get paid. We have another wide receiver that is, I mean, top 5 in the league and going to command, not demand, command top 5 money, like a ridiculous contract. We also have the second best quarterback in the league. You got to give freaking Mahomes his props at this point. Who
Yeah.
got a deal? Like, Joe Burrow got a deal because he's electric. I mean, when he's healthy, like, we're unbelievable. So we've got a lot of money invested in kick-ass players. So it's like, it's a nice problem to have, I guess. I don't know. Silly thing to say, but okay. So we've gone over. Go ahead.
I just want to address. I see a couple comments. Oh
Pull
shit!
them up.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I was talking to Siri because I must have said something that sounded close to it. I see a couple comments about the Deshaun Watson cap hit, and this isn't a Brown show, but his cap hit is scheduled. His cap hit is scheduled to be $64 million this year. But I promise you guys, I would bet my life that by the time the season starts, it is not that high because they'll restructure it. So, and Jake says we have damn near $70 million in cap space, so I don't even know why I'm worried. But that's the thing. The Bengals will have, I think, around $70 million total. They're going to reserve some for rookie contracts. They're going to reserve some for in case of emergency signings and stuff like they always do. But the issue with it is not the cap. And I said that the other day on Twitter and got a bunch of shit from people outside the fan base. I said it's not the cap money that is going to restrict a Tee Higgins contract. It's going to be the structure. The Bengals do not like to guarantee money outside of the first year of a contract for any position except quarterback. They've changed in recent years. They could change again. But the cap cannot be the cap can be real if you operate your team like that. But if you decide not to and you're willing to just throw some cash around, the cap can be a myth. You got to pay down the line somewhere. But like, you don't even have to do it like the Rams did, where they traded away all their draft picks and blah 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 blah. Just throw some money around. I know that he's not Jimmy Haslam rich, but like, let's not pretend that the Brown family isn't flush with cash either.
Yeah.
Like all the people like, oh, the Browns are so, or the Brown family's so poor, they can't afford, like, they own an NFL franchise. Let's not act like they don't have liquid cash.
Yeah.
The issue is organizationally changing the way that they approach contracts. Are they willing to do that for Tee Higgins? I don't know. I will guarantee, I can't say I'll guarantee, but I would bet a lot of money that they will be willing to break that structure for Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
I think that they will. Will they for Tee Higgins? Maybe not. I think that they will for Jamar Chase. And Chase is going to wait out Justin Jefferson. Chase isn't going to sign a deal before Justin Jefferson is. He's said it. When Kelsey Conway asked him those ridiculously invasive questions out of nowhere in front of his locker toward the end of the season, he pretty much said, like, yeah, I'm going to wait for JJ to get paid. I'm going to see what he gets, and I'm going to try to top it. So, like,
don't break it for him. Like, respect all respect. Like, does he? I mean, he doesn't think he's going to get what Justin Jefferson's getting, right? I mean, that to me, like, I love Tee Higgins, but like, the guy we pay like Justin Jefferson is Jamar Chase.
That's what I'm saying. Chase is the one that said he wanted to wait
Oh
for
my!
Justin.
I thought you were
I was
talking
on a
T.
whole rant, man. I'm
Got it.
fired up.
I thought you were
I
talking
probably
T.
wasn't very clear. Chase said that he wants to wait for Justin
Yes.
Jefferson to top
Got
him.
it.
T hasn't
Got it.
really said anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. I got it. Same page. Okay. So we got a couple tweets about this T situation we want to pull up. Do you want to pull one up? And these are tweets from just people on Twitter, accounts on Twitter talking about this. So fire one up and let's discuss it if you got it up, man.
Yeah, so I pulled a few of them up. I see some Justin Jefferson signs in Cincinnati plot twist
Yeah,
things. That would be insanity.
I doubt it. Yeah.
I doubt it, but it'd be insanity. So here's the first one I got. I actually just watched this video yesterday. It is from Enter the Jungle. It's hosted by James Rapine and Andrew Fox Miller. They do a great job with it. I watched this video yesterday, and they went over kind of the similarities that could happen between Jesse Bates' situation and Tee Higgins' situation. As you can see, the tweet reads, same agent, similar situation. Could Tee Higgins be a repeat of Jesse Bates III? And James Rapine, very smart guy. He laid it out in a very, very good way. He laid it out, cards on the table. He's a guy that's in the building, credentialed, talks to guys at their locker, but he doesn't carry water for the team. He keeps it real. And he said flat out, the Bengals should have given Jesse Bates the same exact deal that Atlanta should have given him. And he said that, is this going to be a repeat of the Jesse Bates situation where you go through this whole season and we're concerned about safety play? Nick Scott, not very good. Dax Hill had his up and downs. Jordan Battle comes in, puts some solidarity. I don't know. Some word that I didn't go to school long enough to figure out.
It's all right.
In there for Nick Scott. And now we're in better shape. But are we going to see that next year? Because there was a comment up there earlier. I can't remember who it was. There's going to be a hole at wide receiver if Tee Higgins goes. It's going to be Chase, Chuck Sizzle, and Yoshi. So could it be a repeat of the Jesse Bates situation where we're kicking? Jesse Bates just became an all-pro and balled out all year in Atlanta.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I listened to it as well. I just, the only thing that is equal here is Mulligetta. He's the constant and all this bullshit that we're having to deal with these players. It could be. I hope the Bengals learn from that and they either tag and move or they tag and just be like, look, this is the deal. And T accepts it, right? Like I love Tee Higgins. I want Tee Higgins to be a Bengal. But if I'm Cincinnati, what I've learned from the Bates situation is I go, look, Dave, T, this is the deal we're willing to roll with. Give us a counter. Here's the counter. Nope, we're going to deal with this. No, we don't want it. Okay, Tee Higgins, where do you want to play football next year? I hate it. I don't want him to leave, but I think the Bengals have to flex a little bit in this situation. They've got to say, dude, like this is the contract we're offering. And I think that's what they need to take away from the Bates situation, because we cannot have T play and wishfully think that we're going to work out a contract with him next year when he can walk away and play wherever he wants. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say, where do you want to play football next year? I'd say, okay, we're going to trade you to the highest bidder. I don't care if it's the Washington Commanders, whose stadium dumps shit water on people during the game. Ew. Who's going to give us the most for your services? That's where you're going. He doesn't have a no trade clause in that rookie deal. So, I mean, he doesn't have any of that. So I'd just be like, yeah, dude, here's our offer. Here's your counter. We don't like it. We don't like it. Blah, blah, blah. The dance continues. We're not going to come to a deal. All right.
Yeah.
Keep your phone on. I'm sending you to whoever gives me the most capital. Yeah. Yeah. Go play with 4 foot tall Bryce Young and have a great time taking Dave Tepper's money. You'll be rich as hell and you'll win 3 games a year.
Yeah. And we have to preface everything for the ferocious fan base that we have. We both want T here, but you got to freaking 100%. Talk reality. You know what I mean? Got to talk reality. And again, James and Andrew, they run a great show. If you haven't checked them out yet, they're with Big Play, who's a great company, putting together some good things in Cleveland and Cincinnati. I don't know what day they do their show, but go check them out. James, as always, professional. Andrew Fox has the clearest camera I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like 28K. I don't know, like not price, like 4K, like 28K. Like it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. So
you just got to 2024. He's in like 2034.
Yeah, he's from the future. It's absurd. Okay, so pull up another tweet. Let's discuss another one. I think we got some good stuff going here.
Let's see what we got. All right, I already did that one.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one I've got queued up is Tee Higgins year by year stats since a rookie. 2020, 16 games, 67 catches, 908 yards, 6 touchdowns. 2021, probably his best season from a yardage standpoint, at least. And that was only in 14 games. He did miss some time. 74 catches, 1,091 yards, 6 touchdowns. 2022, 16 games, 74 catches, 1,029 yards and 7 touchdowns. And then 2023 obviously missed a good amount of time there.
Yeah.
Missed a few games. So he's got 12 games, 42 catches, 656, and 5 touchdowns. These are only regular season stats, I believe. But he has also caught touchdowns in Super Bowls. He's caught touchdowns in AFC Championship games. He's made big plays for the Bengals in big moments too. So he's had an impact on some of our favorite moments as fans. So we've got wide receiver 1A and wide receiver 1B. You know what I mean? Like Jamar Chase is a good chunk better than Tee Higgins. No shot, just the way it is. But Tee Higgins is a number 1 wide receiver on most other teams in the league.
Yeah,
so
very much.
That's where you get in the conundrum of we got 2 number 1 wide receivers that want paid like number 1 wide receivers. Yeah. But he's done a great job in his time in Cincinnati, and he's earned money. We got another tweet here from Chase and Scott. I really like the content he puts out on Twitter.
Yeah, me too.
But he poses a good question. Let's say you could have Tee Higgins or Brock Bowers play their entire career in Cincinnati, but you can only pick one to be on the team. Who would it be? And
God, dude,
that's a great question because I love Brock Bowers. I love the prospect of Brock Bowers in Cincinnati, but I already love Tee Higgins, and I've already seen 4 years of Tee Higgins.
So with me, my gut is Tee Higgins, right? Like off the rip, very quick answer. Because I know what he's capable of, right? In a perfect world, if the money all worked out and we had Jamar T and Joe Burrow and company, we can win championships. But if you told me you could tap your finger or snap your fingers and tell me that Brock Bowers will have a Travis Kelce career, I mean that's what makes it tough. Like, who knows? The unknown of Brock Bowers makes me pick T in that scenario.
I have to go that way too. As big of a Brock Bowers guy as I am, I've seen Tee Higgins cook Jalen Ramsey in the Super Bowl and catch a touchdown. I've seen Tee Higgins catch a touchdown pass from Joe Mixon in the Super Bowl. Funny enough, Nick Scott was the one covering him.
But here, Zach,
I got to go with the proven commodity.
In our comments, Zach, brings up a good point here. Like, how about both? Like, yes, that's also a scenario, right? Zach, there's a chance we draft him. Donch.
Shit, he told me. I got it on a video message. But Brock Bowers is not going to be there at 18 either. I think the only way that you get Brock Bowers is if you do trade up or you trade Tee Higgins and get some sort of package that somehow puts you up there. And I don't know that you would, but there have been some people that have talked about him maybe falling. I don't know, but Victoria's in there saying Tanner Hudson is her tight end and we're traders. We love Tanner Hudson. I'm talking about a Tanner Hudson, Brock Bowers double tight end set is what I'm talking about.
I don't
2
know.
Receiving threats. And we got to keep Drew Sample. Damn it.
Yeah. For your bets. To me, like if Brock Bowers falls to 18, it's like we gotta draft him. I think I'm worried about drafting a tight end in the first round, just positional value wise. But like again, if you tell me if he instantly they're forgetting where they came from, get out of here.
It's the woman I'm marrying in 2 days.
Go get married. Get off my back.
Yeah, go make a seating chart.
But if we are drafting Brock Bowers at 18 and he can play like Travis Kelce is like the ultimate dream to have on your team, right? As a tight end. So that's like the guy I'm saying, like, if he can play like that, even 70% of that, go get the guy, right? Because that would be electric. So I don't know. That's the scenario we're both on a team. The scenario we just went over is you got to choose one, and we both landed on Tee Higgins. So What other tweets do we got? This is fun. I like
We got a
talking to the
couple
people
more.
here.
Yeah, and we didn't ask anybody permission to use their tweets, but you put it
No,
on the
not at all.
internet, so sorry
Nope.
about it.
Yep, your fault.
You did this. Um, this one comes
Oh
from
yeah.
Nomadic. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I know there are a lot of you. Tee Higgins does not fit into the Bengals' long-term plans because he played above how much they are willing to pay him and above how they are comfortable structuring guarantees. And for the duration of the Bengals franchise, he's
Maybe.
correct.
Yeah.
The Bengals didn't really
I don't
break
know.
any precedent when they extended Joe Burrow and gave Joe Burrow $219 million guaranteed because the Bengals have always paid their quarterbacks. Andy Dalton got a damn near top of the market deal when he was in Cincinnati. Carson
Yeah.
Palmer got a top of the market deal in Cincinnati. So like Bengals have never not paid their quarterbacks. So that really wasn't anything out of the norm. It's just the biggest one that they've ever done. It wasn't like they broke the mold for their organizational structure. What he's
Yeah.
talking about is Tee Higgins has performed like a receiver that gets the $25 million a year with however much guaranteed, and that very well may be how it plays out. But the point that he's making is, as of right now, what we know of the Bengals, he has outperformed how they're willing to structure and pay for a number 2 wide receiver, especially because on the Bengals, that's what he is.
Yep. 100%. I think he thinks he's more right than he really is, though. I think he thinks T's gone right now. But I think we can work out a deal with T and survive the blow that we have to pay him. So the reason I throw that tweet up there is because it felt a little controversial to me. I think he's drawing a line in the sand, and I think he's saying T's not going to be here. Get over it. That's how I took the tweet. But maybe long term, you're right, Drew. Maybe that he is right a little bit there. So I think we got like
Zach
one.
asked a good question.
Yeah.
He says, "Are any Bengals going to be at my wedding?" Invites were sent.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
No RSVPs. I'm thinking maybe Joe Burrow is just planning a surprise.
Yeah.
The seating chart has been made and finalized, but if Joe shows up, I'll make my grandma get up.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
make sure he and Olivia have a seat, or if he just wants to do a quick walkthrough,
Yeah.
just say hey, that'll be cool too. But as of right now, it's not looking great. But with God, all things are possible. So maybe Joe Burrow will accidentally be in Dayton, Ohio, and just pop up.
Yeah.
More tweets.
Yeah. Throw another
I
one
think
up
we only
there.
got one more on this subject. We're already at 32 minutes anyway.
No, all good.
Um,
After this, there's a couple more things we'll
see.
address, but yeah, throw that up there.
Yeah, last one is an interesting concept from Andy France that we have talked about. Is the Chris Jones to Cincinnati dream only possible if the Bengals trade Higgins to free up money? Should the Bengals see if they can land Jones before they decide to trade T? Now, I broached the subject of Chris Jones in Cincinnati on my unrealistic free agency thing.
Yep.
There's been like a little bit of traction to it from like people that have said legitimately how it could happen. But I think that if he were to come to Cincinnati, it would probably be sans Tee Higgins.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
See, I threw sans in there. Smart people say shit like that. So I think that if Chris Jones did wind up in Cincinnati, it's going to be without Tee Higgins there. If the Bengals have a feeling that they could land a Chris Jones, maybe that makes them more apt to move Tee Higgins because they know that they can replace that money with a top tier defensive lineman. Do I think Chris Jones winds up in Cincinnati? No. But if he does, I think it is without Tee Higgins, and the Bengals will probably have some sort of idea that they could land him before they made a move on Tee Higgins in that scenario.
Yeah, I agree. I think Chris Jones is just a dream. I don't really think there's a realistic scenario where he ends up here. I think he's going to command too much money for what the Bengals are willing to shell out at the moment with everything else we got to pay out. So I don't know. That's a quick one to gloss over. So all right, here's the another scenario. Right, we've arrived. Tee Higgins is tagged. A deal cannot be worked out. We've traded Tee Higgins. I don't know what we've gotten. Maybe a first, maybe a second, and a guard or something, right? And some futures. Who knows? But who do you see? And I'm putting you on the spot here. I apologize. In the free agent market, wide receiver wise, that we could maybe bring in to replace his production.
Number one target if Tee Higgins isn't there and the Bengals decide to go to free agency to try to replace him is Mike Evans.
Okay. How much do you think?
Love Evans as a deep threat. Love Mike Evans as a 1-2 year band-aid. He's not getting any younger, but he's still a damn
Yeah.
good deep threat. While you try to draft develop a guy or whatever, stepped on my child's toy. Whatever
As long
you
as
try
it's
to
not
do
the
to replace
child.
him long term, but if I'm Duke Tobin and I know T Higgins is out and I've just traded him or whatever, I'm getting on the phone with Mike Evans' agent immediately.
How much I don't know who his agent is, but I wonder how much Mike Evans costs. I mean, he's a receiver that has never, I'm in double negative here, never not had 1,000-yard season. So, like, what? I mean, is he going to command a lot of money, or is age a factor there? You think, and you can bring him in for 1 to 2 on a, I will not say cheap, but a reasonable contract?
This comment is grossly upsetting to me, but I believe that it's accurate. Matt Schultz says, unfortunately, Evans said he wants to play for Mahomes if Baker doesn't come back, which is
Oh,
hilarious to read out
did he
loud
really?
because it's like, well, if I can't play for Baker Mayfield, then maybe I'll just go play for Mahomes. It's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. But I believe that is accurate. So that kind of sucks because it's like, okay, I'll stay in Tampa. And that makes sense. He's been in Tampa 10 years. He's won a Super
Yeah.
Bowl there. He's accomplished everything there. He might not want to
Yeah.
leave. But the idea of him going to um, Kansas City makes me want to vomit.
Yeah.
Shout out to Matt. He does
Coach
have a raffle going to benefit Project Game Day, and a autographed AJ Green jersey is being given away in it. So if you
sick.
haven't seen that, check out his Twitter page. Somebody said,
Awesome.
"How about Ridley, Calvin Ridley?" I heard he always bets the over, so that would be good.
I don't know.
I had
It's
to.
to me, it's got to be like Evans or something, right? Because we'll move on to what the next scenario is. They don't sign anybody, and we're rolling with Jamar Chase, our tight ends, Chuck Sizzle, Andre Yoshivas, right? We moved to the draft, right? So like I queued up a mock draft. I went through the first round. They take their guard, their tackle, their defensive lineman, whatever they take in the first round. And I look kind of into the second round, and you've got guys like Jalen Polk, he's a big body. I think he's what? Let me look here. He's 6'2", 204, right? I mean, and then
Couldn't
you've
do
got,
shit against Michigan though. You know what
yeah,
I'm
that's
saying?
true. But well, listen to this, and then you got at the top of the board a 6', 192 Roman Wilson, right? Somebody like that. Is he going to be gone late first round? Will he be there second round? If T is not here or not in the plans, is that a guy you bring in, right? So you have,
Fire me up with
yeah,
Roman
I know,
Wilson.
right? You've got Jamar Chase, a couple guys that have played a season and understand the system, and then a young guy who could come out here and be a friggin' stud, right? I don't, if something goes haywire and T is not here in the plans, I don't think they're going to go first round wide receiver. I think that would maybe shock a lot of people. But if he's gone, you look at these second round guys, maybe third round, but I'd like to think they would address it sooner than later. And maybe you can get a guy like Roman Wilson, right?
I got to get this out about Roman Wilson because I've been thinking this a lot, and now I
Yeah.
can say it on February 22nd. And there's video proof that like I was right if this happens. Nico Collins in Houston
Yeah.
played at Michigan, uber talented, big, tall, strong, athletic, fast guy. Never had a quarterback in college. He had to play with Shea Patterson and like John O'Corn. All right, those dudes stink. Roman Wilson went to the Senior Bowl and tore it up because
Yeah.
Roman Wilson is a dog.
Yep.
JJ McCarthy is 27-1, probably the most accomplished quarterback in Michigan history, national champion, all that. That offense did not showcase Roman Wilson the way it should have. You are going to see Roman Wilson have this where the hell did this guy come from moment in the NFL, like you
Yeah.
did with Nico Collins, if he goes to
Really.
a team with a good quarterback early. It took Nico Collins a while because Houston didn't have a quarterback. Watson was sitting out when Nico came into the league, and then they had the guy with the giant neck, Davis Mills, and then all of a sudden here comes CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud's a baller. Nico Collins is a baller. You will see something like that with Roman Wilson in the NFL. Whoever gets Roman Wilson, if they have a good quarterback, it doesn't even have to be a great quarterback. If they
Yeah.
have a good quarterback, somebody is going to be extremely happy they got Roman Wilson in the second round. And 5 years from now, we're going to be looking at Roman Wilson on a second round contract, like we're going to look at Tee Higgins, because he's going to earn number one money. So if there's
Right.
a scenario that it does involve Tee Higgins leaving, it's going to break my heart. But if that scenario lands Roman Wilson in Cincinnati, I'll feel a lot better.
Yeah,
Not trying to
exactly.
be biased because I'm a Michigan fan, but that dude is going to be a baller.
Well, you know him, yeah, and he's gonna be good. Like you said, he balled out in the Senior Bowl. He's gonna land somewhere. We lose T. That would be nice if he was there in the second round and we can snag him. Because I mean, you get down to the third round, you're looking at like North Carolina, South Carolina guys, right? You got like Devontae Walker, Xavier Legette, who's got some concerns, and then a guy I like in the third round because we're talking wide receivers is Johnny Wilson, Florida State, 6'7", 237. I
I
mean,
like Johnny Wilson.
imagine having a 6'7" wide receiver to get in there and mix it up a little bit. But again,
Remember
this is
Auden
all
Tate?
yeah,
I
exactly,
thought
right?
Auden Tate was going to become a monster.
I did too. I really did. I he just couldn't get it together, or we didn't use him correctly, whatever
He
it
should have
is.
just put on like 20 more pounds and played tight
And
end.
played
He'd
tight
probably
end or
still be in the
something.
league balling.
I know. I'm very Kyle Pitts like, but not in terms of arm length and stuff. But that's just maybe he reminds me of that. Yeah, like there's options to bring in talent if T leaves, but it's such a gamble if it's not a guy like Roman Wilson, right? Who you know is going to come in and be good. Uh, so preferably T here. If it's got to happen and we trade him, I hope we maximize capital and we make a smart decision to bring in a wide receiver. Maybe something crazy happens and T goes to a team for a late first round pick and we can get a guy out of LSU and Thomas or something, right? Maybe that's the scenario, right? I'm talking like our draft hasn't changed and T's gone anyway, which we would get draft capital for T. So understand that. So
Zach says JJ's a bust. Sorry, Drew. I don't think
I
JJ
saw.
McCarthy's going to be that good in the league. I really don't, but he got me my natty. So shout out to him, Michigan legend. But whatever he does in the pros, I'm not expecting a ton, but you never
Yeah.
know. Michigan was always up on everybody by like 14 because they just ran the ball and beat the piss out of everybody. So
Yeah.
maybe they just didn't. Maybe the offense didn't let JJ go to his full capabilities. But I also saw him put up some stinkers.
It could
But
be.
not a Michigan show. Sorry, they are the national champions though. And then I guess next as we close things out. And I'm probably not going to spend a ton of time on this because I've given my opinion on this several times. I need to fix my lighting because I have like 8 shadows behind me. But
Okay.
that's a after honeymoon thing. I'll be in Vegas winning at least $500,000 here in a few days. Then we'll just build a studio complex somewhere.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon. The
Yeah, here we go.
the Joe Mixon fight is
hold
back on.
Let me
Oh my God, the garage beer line.
little garage. I need a garage beer for the Joe Mixon talk. I can't handle it.
Dude, they sent me free beer as a wedding gift, like cases of beer as a wedding gift. What
For
a
your
company.
wedding?
Yeah. Well, I'm not allowed to take it to the wedding venue because their bar fucking stinks. Oh,
Oh.
wait, no, I can cuss now. Their bar stinks, so I can't take it to the wedding, but I have a bunch of free beer for
That's
pre-wedding,
badass.
post-wedding.
Lime.
The lime is my favorite.
Get the lime.
They
Go buy
also
garage
sent me,
beer. Go buy it now.
if you guys want bumper stickers, this was not supposed to turn into a commercial. I got bumper stickers, magnet sticker. I got all kinds of stuff in the mail the other day. But
Garage beer. If you don't drink garage beer, then you. How about that?
Hey, that might make it to Twitter. Here's the Joe Mixon thing.
Yeah.
I hate any topic becoming so divisive amongst the fan base.
Dude.
And you know what? I've probably played a hand in it too, because if you catch me on the right day and I'm in a right mood, I can be an asshole. And I get so much shit thrown at me from Twitter accounts. And maybe sometimes I come in defense mode a little bit more than I should.
Yeah.
But the Mixon thing last year got so crazy divisive. Like people were getting blocked and people were like no longer friends. Like it was crazy. I just don't like that, because what I try to remind people when I ran or something, or I'll just throw it out because I'm thinking about it. We all want the same thing, and that is a Lombardi trophy in Cincinnati.
Winning.
So here I
I get
am
it.
with Mixon.
Go.
If the Bengals think that they have a plan to move on from Joe Mixon, save their money, and run with Chase Brown or a cheaper free agent or another guy with a draft and do a double backfield with Chase Brown and whoever else, and that's the best thing for the Bengals winning, do it.
Yep.
If the Bengals don't think that they can replace Joe Mixon effectively this year to make the Bengals a Super Bowl contender this year, then keep him. If that means giving Joe Mixon a pay cut again, like he did last year, if that's what they have to do and he's willing to do it, do it.
Yeah.
But like, if you come at me with a totally different opinion on this subject right now, because we really haven't discussed it one on one, I'm not going to block you and kick you out of the broadcast and not be your friend. Like,
yeah.
We just have different visions of what gets the Bengals a Super Bowl. I want what's best for the Bengals. I love Joe Mixon. I think this team does need Joe Mixon on it. I have said that publicly, but if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I want the guy to win a ring in Cincinnati. I think he's earned it. I think he's deserved it. I think I keep interrupting you.
No, you're good. You're talking.
That,
you're good.
That is where I'm at on Mixon. It would suck to see him leave as a guy that's a fan of him, but I'm not going to riot in the streets if they do. I'm not going to riot in the streets if they don't.
Yeah, I agree. I'm in the same boat as you, dude. I mean, ditto, right? Like, and Darth Bangle in the chat, shout out Darth Bangle before I start ranting. Go find him on game day, grab one of his killer necklaces, man. He's doing all kinds of stuff. FC Cincy, Bengals, all kinds of good stuff. He's got some tiger heads going. Yeah, dude, like if like what he said in the chat, Darth Bangle, like right now it is safer to talk about politics on Twitter than it is Joe Mixon. Like literally it is. Like I could bring up gun control and have less of a fight on my hands than I do keeping Joe Mixon or cutting Joe Mixon right now. And I hate it, bro. I get it. He's some people's favorite player, and it's going to sound like I'm calling somebody out right now. Zim, I'm not. I love you, dude. I love your passion. If he's your guy, defend him. I get it. But some people, we got to stop fist fighting over this guy, right? Like, would love Joe Mixon here, right? If he's not in the plans and they have a plan that will successfully replace or enhance the running back position, I'm all for it because I'm all for the Bengals getting better. If they work out a deal where they can trim Joe Mixon's salary and he stays, I love it. Let's keep him here. He's been a Bengal. He's done great here. I like it when he's on the field. He busts off big runs. We got a guy that can supplement him a little bit too, and Chase Brown. Let's keep him here. Let's go. All right. But like at the same time, like if March timeframe comes around and he's got to go and we save $6 million and we can put that towards something else. Okay, sweet. Okay. Again, I'm not going to argue with you, dude. Like, not you, Drew, anybody, right? Like,
right.
If you love him and you want him here, you love him and you want him here. Like, if you don't want him here because you think we can do something else, okay, that's great too. At the end of the day, whatever happens with Mixon happens with Mixon, and I'm either pumped he's on the team or I'm fake digitally shaking his hand and thanking him for his service and hoping he kicks ass in, I don't know, another whatever, pick a team, the Rams, right? Like whatever, like go do your thing. Hopefully not in the AFC because Joe Mixon's pretty good, but
well, that's the thing, right? Like he was still an effective member of this team last year. Yeah. He had 1,400 all-purpose yards. We said on our show throughout the season, like, man, Joe Mixon is a big part of why this offense was able to stay afloat when Burrow could barely walk. And I know it wasn't quite as much then, or down the stretch when Browning's in. Like, Mixon was a big part of why the Bengals had as much success as they did. I almost said as much success as they did. Reed Mouse is in the chat. Shout out Reed Mouse from Chatterbox. Baja Blast is elite. There's just too much of this where it's just like, hey man, like it's funny you say it's safer to talk about gun control because that's true. Because if somebody wanted to have an argument with me about Joe Mixon, I'd be like, look, dude, how about we just talk about like what's your vaccination status?
Yeah.
I don't want to go there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
So that's just where I'm at, man. And there's been like
it
just so
sucks.
much like just toxicity, and I hate that because, dude, I'm telling you, I, big screen time. Okay,
Do
big
it.
screen time. I'm sorry, this is
Do
gonna
it.
be a good clip.
I'll drink beer.
I am telling you all, Joseph Lee Burrow is going to bring a Super Bowl trophy to Cincinnati. It is going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be this year. I don't know if it's going to be next year. It could be the New Orleans thing. Joe Burrow is bringing a Super Bowl to Cincinnati. And when that happens, we're going to be down at the parade. We're going to be lining the bridge. We're all going to be high fiving and shaking hands and hugging. And none of these Twitter arguments are going to matter. They are not going to mean shit. When I see somebody at the Super Bowl parade after I'm done smoking crack on the bridge, I'm not going to care if they wanted Mixon to stay or they wanted Mixon to go. I'm not going to care if they wanted T to stay or if they wanted T to go. It's not going to matter. Joe Burrow's bringing this team a Super Bowl, and all these Twitter fights won't mean shit as soon as it happens. End
Yep.
rant.
100%. Here's what I want with Joe Mixon and Tee Higgins and everybody on this team. I want whatever decision is made to bring us a Super Bowl.
That's
Boom.
it.
That's it. And I'm done talking about it. I do want to address one more thing. That's today's hot news before we get off here, because I know you probably got to go plan a freaking wedding. Bengals are getting new field turf, huh? How about that? That's been a fun discussion today.
Before we go into possibly the bad news,
Yeah.
I am publicly starting or joining, whatever you want to call it, the campaign
Yeah.
for the Bengals to put the leaping tiger back on the 50-yard line.
Buddy.
The B logo, the B logo can stay on everything else. I need the leaping tiger back on the 50. Look at it, dude. You remember that? You remember when Carson Palmer would drop back and he would plant right off the cheekbone of that tiger and he'd just launch it 65 yards to Chad Johnson? The good old days of 2005 when it's like, okay, the Bengals don't suck anymore.
Yeah.
I need the leaping tiger back. Mike, Katie, Duke, whoever.
Let's talk.
Put me in a room with you and I will leave you with no doubt that we need the leaping tiger back. Now, is that turf going to make everybody's knee explode? I guess is the question, because
I don't know.
Our guy Willie Lutz that we shouted out earlier said it's the same turf that is in the New York Jets and Giants Stadium. There's a laundry list of soft tissue ligament type injuries that have happened on that turf. Some have said it's been fixed. Some have said it hasn't. Apparently, this company makes multiple different kinds of turf. I've had a lot of Twitter replies. I can't remember them all. I'm not smart enough to know. But it seems like there could possibly be an issue with bad turf, and that scares me.
I have no idea, man. Like I like the idea of getting a new field. I would love grass. I think grass would be sick. It's cool. It's pretty. It's like a natural substance. It's awesome. Aaron Rodgers blew his freaking ankle out. That sucks. I guess there's data that shows players have gotten hurt on a specific type of turf. We're putting in that company's turf. I've seen it's in MetLife. I don't know why ML Football decided to just post us on there today for clicks or whatever. That guy's usually pretty cool. I don't know what the hell that was, but like friggin' Atlanta has it. Dallas has it. New York has it. Other stadiums have this turf from this company, Field Turf, it's called, right? And it's some kind of turf core or something. Like I'm not a scientist. I have no freaking idea. I hope our guys don't get injured. That's what I'll say about it. I'm pumped. The stadium's getting renovated. I like that there's going to be a new field. Leaping Tiger, fingers crossed. I don't know. I don't know what this new field turf. Hopefully they've enhanced it since Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles, right? So the Seahawks have it. They have it too, and they got voted like best field last year. So what the hell? Where's the truth, right?
Somewhere it's that, in the middle. But see, like that's what I saw. Somebody said that. I'm like, oh, I think it was actually Matt Bourbon that said it. I'm like, okay, that makes me feel better. But then somebody else was like, well, it's the same brand, but not the same type. So I don't know. Jake asked, what do the players want? And from everything that I've seen,
they like it.
Is most players want natural grass. From what I've seen. I think owners are hesitant to do natural grass because it's a lot more upkeep. I think it restricts them if they want to do like concerts and stuff at their stadiums, something like that. I know when Paul Brown Stadium first opened, it was natural grass with like sand under it. And if people are old enough to remember, the field at Paul Brown Stadium, the first few years it was open, was not good until
Yeah.
they put in turf.
Yeah.
But I it's supposedly better than what we have now. Kevin K says, and I get that. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on it because I really haven't had a chance today to like really gather the information.
I
But
don't know, man. Like,
all where I'm at is like protect the players as much as you can and give me the leaping tiger. That's all I know.
yeah, I don't know if it's going to turn into a thing, whatever. Other people can argue about it. I hope our guys don't get hurt, right? But like people get like hit by cars every day. Like Devin Ruck in the chat, he brought it up. A guy tore his Achilles just like running onto the field on grass for no reason,
Dre
non-contact
Greenlaw,
injury.
that did happen.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean like freak injuries happen. So I don't people we've been playing on
But
turf
there's a
for
list
years.
though.
Is there?
There's a list from MetLife. Yeah.
Okay,
It's
Matt,
like
I guess
kind of troubling.
so. I've heard that I heard that they like kind of retooled it after all that catastrophe, but I don't know. We'll see,
Yeah.
dude. I'm all for a new field. I'm a B guy. I love the B logo, but like for our field, dude, we got to bring
Dude,
back. And I'm going to show it
it's
again. Yeah,
so sweet.
for the 50-yard line, the leaping tiger. I mean, it'll be the best 50-yard line logo in the NFL. It's so nice. So
So good. So that's where we're at. We
ooh,
have kept.
and dude, on White Bengal night, the white leaping tiger.
Holy shit, dude!
Yeah.
I haven't even thought of that.
Hold on, let me Google this real quick. It's got to be.
They did redo the field for this year at MetLife, and I think Matt did tell me that earlier. So I guess not all of the bad juju is still on their turf. The Aaron Rodgers thing is a free thing. He's like 90 years old and does ayahuasca in caves, so like maybe something else is going on. But
Ooh, Drew, you ready? On the 50.
oh, dude, yeah, dude, the
Yeah,
white Bengal on the 50, white
that'll look
Bengal end
cool.
zones, whole
Yeah,
stadium wearing white. Oh,
I gotta
dude,
say this.
fire me up.
I guess it'll look cooler than an elf. Shots fired. It'll look cooler than an elf. Just saying.
That elf is terrible. I think most Browns fans are like, yeah, the elf. I don't like it. Like they have an old school
Oh,
elf
Seth.
logo. One of my best friends is a big Browns fan. He's got the elf
Not a.
logo
It's a
tattooed on
fun
himself,
logo. It's not bad.
but he's got like the old original one's cool. Whatever one they put on the field was weird.
Yeah. He
But
said, okay, hold on. Cincy Jake just said Seth Reese did a mock up of the white tiger. Before we leave, let me see if I can find this real quick. If it's not immediate, we'll drive on. But like I got nothing else to add, man. Like
Seth Reese is good.
yeah, he's immaculate. He
Dude,
does good work.
Matt just said if they brought back the Leaping Tiger throwback unis to match,
Yeah.
dude, the old like the year Palmer was drafted before they switched. Dude, Burrow in one of those with the same helmet, but the throwback jerseys and the throwback pants with the stripe on the shoulder. Oh, dude, you're talking about Nike making a whole lot of money off me.
Oh, 100%. I don't know. I look for it, I think. All right, Jake, I appreciate you bringing it up. I'll look for it after the show. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, those throwbacks would be absolutely sick. I've seen a couple guys
Filthy.
with Burrow throwbacks.
Goodberry has one. Well, the first time I met Joe Goodberry in person was the first Ring of Honor game. I think he might have got it from Cook Sports.
Cook Sports. Yeah.
Cook Sports sells everything. So
yeah,
I could get one right now. I'm just making excuses.
Yeah. Well, we're lazy. That's what it is. So,
but yeah,
I think we covered everything we set out to cover tonight. I got nothing else. We're at 58 minutes. We thought it was going to be 40 minutes, but we're just too damn good to make a shorter show. I think it's what it is. Like and subscribe to the millions and millions of people watching live right now. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like it, share it. To the millions that are listening as well, cleaning the house, got the headphones in, put the vacuum down and like and subscribe real quick. The chores will be there when you're done. I got nothing left at the almost 59-minute mark, but a big who day, and everybody breathe. It's off
Tony
season.
Taphorn says we did not cover St. Taddy's Day. It's happening, baby.
Talk about it.
It's at the Foaling Warehouse, dude. I found out. Foaling is an awesome place. I've been at an event or two there before. It's foaling. It's bowling with footballs. If you
Oh,
say
that makes
fouling, you're
makes way
crazy.
more sense than what I.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that's on the 17th. We're going to be down there. It's going to be awesome. So, yeah, don't forget that. That's all over Twitter. Cincy had just put out a video about it right when we started the show. So, yeah, we got that. I am going to stamp that logo on my body. So, yeah, that's it. People have reached out to me on Twitter talking about sending me wedding gifts. Please don't do that. Just tell your friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is a gift enough. Yeah. I will see you guys. I'm still up in the air for next week because I don't know the travel plans and everything. I completely forgot. I'm just going to let you guys know. But next time you see me, I'm going to have a ring on this here finger. And some have said that I will lose half my shit. So I'm just going to try to keep the marriage together so that doesn't happen. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. We will see you whenever we see you again, I guess. I got nothing left but a Who Day. I'm just clicking buttons and they're not working. I'm trying to close this thing out, but there we go. See you guys later.